Welcome to The Real Heal. I am your host, Dr. Renee Wallenstein, also known as the libidoologist. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Kenny, I am so excited to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Renee.
So, you are the first ever money mindset coach that I've had on the show, because when we were conversing before getting you scheduled, it's like, definitely money, financial stress has an impact on our overall health. So I thought it would be really beneficial to have you on as the expert to chat a little bit more about reframing our views of money. But before we get into that, why don't you tell me and the audience how you got doing what you're doing today?
So I started out knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I'll give you a quick history rundown and stuff. My parents were entrepreneurs, so I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I had no idea what that really looked like. I thought I did, but at 18, you know how you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a while to figure out exactly what entrepreneur looked like and what it looked like for me.
Mm-hmm.
And half a dozen businesses later, I found financial services and money mindset dream big coaching, and it really clicked and aligned with who I am and also what I needed to learn. And it aligned very, very well with how I was to fulfill my purpose of serving others. And so that's a really short summary of how I got to where I am today.
Excellent. Yeah. And here you are. And again, we tied it into health because, this is not a business podcast. This is not, necessarily for entrepreneurs, although I do have a lot in my audience. But we connected the fact that a lot of people, it's actually a vicious cycle. They stress about money. Some money causes them some stress-related illnesses. But I was just saying before I hit the record, a lot of people object to paying out of pocket for any health services. Number one, because we're so conditioned in our country to, pay a $5, $15, $20 copay and get seen by your doctor. But, there's other aspects of health that sometimes you have to pay outside your pocket to get extra services over and above what you would normally get from your regular doctor. And so I do think that that's a huge obstacle for many reasons, obviously the cost, but just that mentality of people not wanting to pay for a service that's traditionally quote unquote covered. So, I definitely think money comes in a couple of different ways to impact our health. So can we start out by talking how we go about putting the right value on money?
Yeah. So, and you give a perfect example of how we overvalue money.
Mm-hmm.
We've been conditioned and stuff in many aspects, not just health and stuff, but we put money on this pedestal where you need a ladder and binoculars to see it, basically, and we don't want to spend any of it. It's, sometimes we're worse than Scrooge McDuck. And we don't want to spend a single penny of it, so we put so much value on it that it hinders us from getting the true value that we need. And you use the one of getting the medical services. I didn't get that tooth root canal. We'll just use that. I didn't get that root canal done because I didn't want to spend the money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I didn't go get a flu shot that would really help me, or a treatment that would really help me because of the dollar amount. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say, it's not a legitimate thing, but the way we approach it, I think we're conditioned that we put money on so high a pedestal that it hinders us, instead of using money as a tool that it really is and seeing it as a tool and knowing that it's abundant out there and you can go get some more to replace what's in your bucket.
I love that. Yeah. I do see a huge amount of scarcity out there amongst people and keeping it. And that's the thing with even examples you use, like the root canal or what have you. It's like people just hold on to it because yes, they know they need that, say, root canal, but what if I need something else, X, Y, Z instead? I may not have enough money. And like, how do we get out of that? How do we get more into an abundant mindset of like, there's more where that came from when people are literally pinching every penny and like feeling like they don't have enough?
yeah, a lot of it starts with belief,
Mhm.
and that's one of the things that I've learned, and that's what I now coach on as money mindset coach,
Mm.
is that belief. We believe, okay, very mathematically, if you want to put a sense to it. I
Mhm.
get this much an hour, this is my bills, this is what I have left. Whereas that's all we see. We see what's in our paycheck bank account, all that stuff. But we don't see what value we can provide in other ways to
Mhm.
increase our income. Um, so we're so focused on this paycheck and bank account and that little bit in our bucket that we try to scrimp and save, versus increasing our income.
Mhm.
And believing that there's more out there and it's abundant and you can bring in more income. It's possible for you to bring in more income to help ease up that bucket, make it a bigger bucket, so then
Mhm.
you have the money to pay for that root canal. And that we live in an or world.
Mhm.
It's either this or this, but really we can live in an and world.
Mhm.
This and this. I can
Mhm.
have my cake and eat it too.
Mhm.
So believing that it's possible, and then um, believing that it's possible for you, two different things.
Mhm.
Because you see all these people with millions and they're spending ridiculous amounts of money, what in our eyes looks like wasting money on whatever, $10,000 for a cell phone or
Mhm.
whatever. But so you see that it's possible to have money. We just don't believe it's possible for us.
Mhm.
And so getting those are some of the core things that help to start if we are willing to accept and change those.
I love that. Yeah. I think you see that a lot, especially on social media. You see all those people talking about money and all the things, and people get on and number one, they start feeling bad about themselves because they think, well, they can have the money or they can do it, but I can't. And like you said, it just begins with that. Why can't you? Like, why can't you be that person? That person has nothing more than you have, except for believing that they can do it. Right.
Yeah, no difference.
And I think this mentality keeps a lot of people stuck. And I say stuck because I work with, and I've seen a lot of people that, one of their biggest stressors, yes, finances, but it's related to their occupation. And they feel stuck in their job as a means of, like you said, income, bank account, like job, income, bank account, not like, what do I love to do? It's like, it's a job. It's not a career. It's not something they show up every day and love. They don't jump out of bed in the morning saying like, gosh, this is going to be an amazing day. And, I'm going to change the world. They're essentially like hitting snooze 50 times and dragging themselves out of bed and going to an unfulfilling job where they don't feel like they're making the most of their skills only because it's money in their pocket, in their bank account. And from what I hear, like, I think a lot of people got really creative during the pandemic because out of necessity. People had to make money, right? So like they filled their bank accounts with doing a lot of things they loved and got really creative on how to make it, which I love to see. And I think it is carried over to now to the present day, because I still think people are coming up with really creative ways to market their services, products, are coming up with products and they're selling them. And it's just amazing to see. So how, money seems to have this, like I was just saying, even with this example of the job, it's like we are controlled by money. We're controlled by our bank account. We're controlled by thinking, again, we'll never have enough. How do we free ourselves from this hold that money has on us?
Yeah, that's a great question because it really does, and it's got it's a really tight grip,
Mhm.
unfortunately, and stuff. And again, it goes back to our mindset and our beliefs.
Mhm.
Do you believe it's possible for you to control the money instead of the money to control you? Do
Mhm.
you believe it's possible for you to have an abundant life? You don't have to know how right now, but do you
Mhm.
believe it's even possible? Because if you don't believe it's possible, then it's never going to happen for you. But
Mhm.
if you even have the slightest hint of belief, it's like, okay, I can't see me over here doing this, but I can see me, having an extra $1,000 a month or whatever. Even starting small. If you believe that's possible for you, then you'll get to that point. The how will come. And so once you start believing that, and your mindset is made of all these paradigms, these thoughts. It's a conglomerate of different thoughts that you have. So if you start to replace those with thoughts that you want, I never have enough money versus I have money for what I need. So if you start making some different tweaks on those, then it'll start to impact you positively. And going back to the JLB, another mindset shift. I used to do a podcast called Dread No Mondays. People hate Mondays, have to go back to work, all that sort of stuff. But if you look at it, even taking your current job, you may not jump out of bed for, you may not like, but you're grateful for what it provides. Yes, it's not the job I like, but because of this job, I have this, or I'm able to do this, and start being grateful for what you do have, then you'll attract more reasons and more opportunities to be grateful, and they'll increase. And then it'll help you also to increase and improve your mindset to get you on the next level towards where you want to be. So believing that it's possible, and then having a goal. I would like, even again, start small if you need to, an extra $1,000 a month. So starting those, what would it feel like to have that extra $1,000 a month? What would you want to do with it? Not what do you need to do. I would pay this bill. I would pay this bill, and that's important. Keep your bills paid, but dream a little. I would take myself to Disneyland, or I would go to this resort hotel for a weekend or whatever. So what would you want to do with that other $1,000? And your belief, your mindset, your thoughts will start to improve and pull you towards that goal.
Do you believe in journaling, or like, how do you best, like, do you do vision boards? Do you journal? Like, how do you best try to help your clients envision what, so say they want an extra 1,000 and they're already picturing what they do with that. Like, how do you best get them to manifest their goals?
So it's whatever works for them. I do affirmations, and I have vision boards. I have you can see the corner of a quote board that I have here, but next to that is a vision board, one of my many. But not everybody responds to a vision board the same way. So whatever it is for you, it might just be writing down a sentence about that versus a picture, or it might be journaling every day. But kind of along the same lines as a vision board, it's helping put that picture in your mind.
Yeah. And, if you can't I think when people picture vision boards, they think, oh, I have to go and get the big cardboard and or and you don't. Like, I've made vision boards on Canva, like online, like get a little, any of these apps or, sites, and like make a little vision board and, put it on your computer as your screensaver, and like be reminded every time you open your computer. What's that? I can't.
A picture on my phone.
Yep. See that?
Something simple as that.
Oh, it's a cruise ship.
Actually, it's a yacht, but.
Oh, it's a yacht. Okay. It was hard to see, but yeah, no, exactly. And so I think, because again, my audience, I have a lot of women who are really overwhelmed and stressed, and to think of doing one more thing, but like, if you have a computer and, you can pull up Canva, there's, I think, free, or anyone where you can make a picture and make your own vision board. And like you said, put it on even on your phone as a screensaver, just one thing, even just take a screenshot of a yacht and put it on there, which is amazing. The other thing is I found super helpful is, and again, journaling is not for everybody. Sometimes it's like you said, speaking affirmations, but getting super clear every day when you start your day on where you want to go on your, like you said, your goals. So I like to, just free write goals and like how I'm going to get there and what I'm already envisioning happening. But again, journaling's not for everyone. That's just kind of what I use. But I think you gave us some really tactful tactical tools. I was going to ask you, like, how do you get people to start believing? But you gave us those tips, because I think a lot of what we believe, we are conditioned to believe by perhaps what we've been told growing up. Maybe you were told growing up, money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work hard for your money, or you'll never be rich because you didn't come from a rich family, or, you're never going to do X, Y, and Z, or you're never going to have because I did it as your parent or your siblings or what have you. And I think it's really hard for people to decondition that from their minds after being told that for, our most formative years and then into our teenage years. So I think, what I hear too is a lot about awareness, like knowing that you're having these thoughts and these beliefs that are holding you back, and then starting to work on them.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to know where you're at. And I call it to be honest, not Instagram honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You put on a fake smile and pretend everything's honky dory and stuff, but when deep down your life is in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
But be honest with where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And then go from there. I'm an analogy guy. I love using analogies, especially road trips. If you were to ask me for directions to Miami, Florida, and I don't know where you're at, my directions are not going to help you.
Yeah.
I'm in Utah. If I give you directions from where I'm at to Florida, they're not going to help you if you're in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know where you're at to be able to start on that journey towards Florida, towards your goal, and taking that first step. Often, again, so many times we get overwhelmed by the whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, from here to there is 2,000 miles, and it's going to take so long, and the gas is going to be so much. Holy cow! Do you know how much gas is down in and you just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
But if you get in the car and you start that first mile, you're like, okay, we're on the road. We'll figure it out. We're going.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. Break it down, because like you said, I think so many people look at the big picture. You just got to break it down to the smaller steps. And I think the other big thing is I have so many people, myself included, until recently, like I wait for that big win to celebrate. And like, we got to try to take time every day to celebrate the small wins that are moving us towards where we want to go. Right.
Yeah. And another analogy I love is, fine china in your dining room. Oh, we only use a fine china on special occasions for Christmas and Thanksgiving or whatever. Somebody who pointed out, was like, isn't any time with family a special occasion?
Yeah.
So again, it's that definition that we've been brought up with and programmed with. What's that special occasion? Celebrate that win. I got out of bed today and I wrote my goals down and journaled for 5 minutes. That's a win. Write it down.
Yeah.
I exercised for 5 minutes. That's a win. Write it down. Put it on Facebook. Text somebody, whatever.
I agree.
So it doesn't have to always be the great big ginormous wins that you celebrate, because those wins are a conglomerate of those tiny little steps.
Yep. And on that same note, I think we have this, what they call negativity bias, where we focus on the negative. We focus on what didn't go right. We focus on what we didn't get done in a day. And like you said, even though those wins, like we kind of take us out of that negativity and more into that positivity. And that's the kind of vibe you want to have an abundant money mindset, is like positive, happy. Like you want to create good emotions around what's to come, not like, oh, I'm not there yet. It's like, all right, I'm one step closer. We're just going to keep going. I have a little story to share. I actually had a client, and she's a listener of this podcast, so she'll probably recognize the story, but who is in a job she doesn't love, but she does it well. And speaking of like not getting out of bed in the morning and all the things, and she has a goal of a different job, but it requires education, more education. And with that comes a cost, right? Money. And she just doesn't have that money to put into that education. So we were trying to break it down because I'm also a positive psychology coach. So like we do these kind of things where we talk about goals and, accomplishment and all the things. And it was an area we were discussing. And she has this side gig that she loves. She loves it, but she doesn't make enough time for it because she's so tired from her. I don't know if she's tired from her job that she shows up to every day, or the fact that this mental strain is really taking a toll on her physical health. Like she doesn't love her job. Like she considers it, it's a lot of energy sucking when you focus on like what you don't love. And so, and there were a lot of positives that we focus on with her current job. But I was like, okay, so how can we make more time for you to like summon up the energy to do the thing that you love at night, which is your side gig, to make extra money, to go back to school, to get your degree, your certification, and the next thing to get a job that's more fulfilling for you. And that was essentially her plan, like essentially it's going to take me this much time. I can average this amount of money. And like now she has a goal. Like now she has a reason, even though that second job, that side gig is something she loves to do. She just never had enough energy, or so she thought. Like she fell into this routine of coming home from work and doing other things that she's like, yeah, I can do this 2-3 nights a week, make this amount of money to be able to go put into my education to get this certification. And then I can get that next job. And I'm like, boom. Right. So just having that goal and that like vision, she's got a plan, which was what we were doing together, is like having a plan and seeing where those obstacles are going to come in. But then that allows you to wake up better every day, knowing that, okay, I have a plan in place to get to where I want to go. And I'm not just rolling over and taking it, so to speak.
Absolutely, 100%. And it gives you the drive, like you're talking about, to
Yeah.
want to do it. And it realigns your priorities, because so often we get just so caught up in the mundane that we forget what our goal was and stuff, or we think of the have to do's, but it just can wait. The laundry will be there tomorrow. Go focus on what you need to focus on, and then the laundry and dishes will work themselves out. They'll find a spot in there somewhere to get cleaned. But when you really are focused on your goals, your priorities straighten up. And whatever your goals may be, and you can have different goals in different areas, then the priorities and the resources align and come together.
Yeah.
Just like you said, and that was a perfect example with your client who worked on this side thing, made a few shifts, but now she's got this in place and getting to the goal that she really wants over here. And oftentimes we don't see that because it's not direct. She had to go kind of roundabout 2 or 3 steps instead of straight line A to B.
Well, I think most people would think, okay, how can I take my current job and just work extra hours to get that money? And so we got to think about it. She doesn't love her current job. So why would she want to put extra hours there? Like, we really had to reverse engineer. Like, this is really what I want to do, but I don't have the money. Okay, how are we going to get the money? Okay, well, I have this side thing I really love to do. Okay, why aren't you doing that? Well, because I don't have the energy, because I don't like my day job. So I come home at night, I've fallen into this routine. And we kind of, again, incorporating this into health. So many people do this. And I think I'm speaking to a lot of people out there that, envision what you want to do next. Like, what do you want to really do with your life? Like, it's never too late. I'm 50 and I'm always pivoting, but like, I'm reverse engineering, like, okay, where do I want to go? And what do I have to do to get there? And just make those little shifts. So it's not going to be overnight for her, but like it is, she at least has a plan now. And now she maybe has a little more energy at night to do the other thing, because she knows, like, by doing that, I'm going to get this, and then that's going to happen, So like, we totally circumvented like the usual route most people think of. It's like, okay, my traditional job that I don't like, and making extra money doing that. And like you said, trying to find the perks in your current job, even if you don't like it, like what good is there so you can show up every day. But, I think that was, I think anyone out there, like you said, even earlier in our interviews, like anyone can do anything. And I think so many of us think we're very concrete, and I'm the biggest culprit of this. I'm getting better, but like how do I get from point A to point B? And there's only one route. There's a lot of ways to get there. They may just require extra steps, like you said.
Yeah. And again, like going back to that road trip, you can get essentially in a straight line from Utah to Florida, or
Mhm.
you might have to detour up to Oklahoma and then drop back down,
Yep.
or sometimes you might have to go to California first.
Mhm.
So it may seem like some big backtrack, but it'll really help down the line to enhance your destination.
Yep. And if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I have this goal, but I don't know how to get there. Work with somebody like Kenny, like that's what he does. Like he helps you because sometimes when you're in it, and that's why, working my client, like when you're in it, it's hard to see that. You have to have someone asking you questions. They're like, okay, what could you do? How are we going to figure this out? And it's like, oh, haha, like you get this aha moment that normally just sitting there thinking by yourself, you might not get. So it's always, and if not with Kenny, then talk to a friend about it, because it's always great to kind of go back and forth with someone when you're trying to mastermind. And not only that, like when you sort of figure out maybe it's a partner even that you're talking to. And that's the other thing. I think once you get others involved in where you're going, it's easier to get help or ask for help, because I think that's the biggest thing with the women I work with is they think they're super women. We can do it all, but at the end of the day, they just fall into bed at night and they're not pursuing their dreams or their goals to make that extra money. And part of the thing that we work on is like communicating your needs, like where do you need help? It doesn't mean you're a failure. And when those around you know that you're going for a bigger goal, you're going for the next big thing, a lot of times they're willing to help, knowing that's going to make you happy.
Yeah. And one of the things that's really important, I think, is you're not the only one.
Hmm.
On the financial side that I'm in, a lot of my clients have that feeling I'm the only one with credit card debt. I'm the only one who's has late payments, or no one else in the world has this kind of thing, but you're not. And there's ways to correct that. There's people that are wanting to help, like you said, and you know, and so they're out there, like you said, talk to somebody, get the help. I'd
Hmm.
rather be embarrassed for 15 minutes or even a month than spend the next 20 years struggling with XYZ.
Yep, exactly. So let's circle back because we kind of touched on this a little bit in the beginning of changing our outlook on cost versus value. And I've done this a lot. I used to be that person online in the healthcare world that said, okay, this is how much it costs, and this, and this is what you're going to get. And now I'm like, okay, this is a 12-week program. This is a transformation you're going to get. And, yes, you'll get all those other things, but like there's the cost of the program and the bullet points, but the value is like your transformation. Like, so how do we go about changing? Because a lot of people, like, we were talking earlier, like they wanted the root canal, like it costs this much to get this done. But the value of not having that pain in your mouth anymore, or the other problems it might cause if you keep that tooth in there. Like, how do we go about changing this outlook?
Yeah. What is the value? We gotta really evaluate the value of what we're getting. You know, um, a lot of times we try to band-aid of, okay, I'm not going to do the root canal. I'll just take ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Ibuprofen's cheaper, but yeah, it's not really solving the problem. But what is the value of having that solved for you? What would it look like? What would your day look like with that pain gone? Because if they're dead set that the value is not there,
Hmm.
then it's not there for them.
Yeah.
But if your value is big enough, if you get a big enough value, you'll find the money, you'll find the resources. There's
Hmm.
options out there. you
Yeah.
know um a lot of dentists, hospitals do financing, payment plans, things like that. You can borrow money, you go get a little credit card, you could do a side gig or whatever.
Mhm.
And and again, undervaluing what we have. um we often think babysitting is not very valuable. I'm just babysitting. That's not no big deal, but to the person you're babysitting for, that's a tremendous value.
Mhm.
Or dog sitting, or I hire someone to mow my lawn
Mhm.
because it's more valuable for me to be working with clients than save the $50 or $100 mowing my lawn.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know,
agree.
so finding that value and finding the joy, the goal of what it would look like, you know, whatever that goal is for you, in any area of your life, you know, we're talking specifically on health, you know, so what would it look like if you were at your goal on, you know, the root canal, or it's, you know, being able to reduce your weight or run a marathon or whatever,
Yep.
you know, what is that value to you?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting if you follow me on Instagram, not you, Kenny, but like in general, the audience, then I was on my stories today talking about kind of this point whereby kind of comes back to money. And I think maybe you were on my mind because we were going to be chatting today, but I'm following this journey of a woman who, very prominent, very wealthy. Okay. So money is not an issue, but, had a screening test and asymptomatically was diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer. And so her story now is like completely shifting to get healthy. And she's doing all these alternative methods and holistic health, and it's costing a ton of money now. And of course, she's wealthy, so she can do it. But my question was like, if she had valued her health, and again, this is not a like, oh, you should have, like, I wish her the best. Like, I really do. I think she's a wonderful woman, but she's not the only one I've seen this happen to. I've seen it happen over and over. I've actually had women like this on my podcast whereby they get either a brush with cancer or a stage 4 diagnosis, and they pivot and they just do this radical change in their health because now they see the value of it saving their life versus before, and versus there's no cost. Like this woman currently that I'm found, there's just no cost. And of course, you know, the price of her getting sick was very costly, but also the price of her doing all this extra stuff all at once is very costly versus doing it little by little. But I think, you know, we tend to not sense the value of something until it's too late. And then we're like, should have, would have, could have. And it would have saved me a lot more money had I done it before versus waiting until something happened. And I hate to use that grim, analogy, but I've seen it over and over and over. And good news is like the women I've had on this podcast, they're still alive. They're still alive. But it's just that like, we all do it. Like we all think. And the other thing I want to actually just tag on to here is like, people have that same mindset about their health as they do about money, that I'll never, like you said, weight loss. I have a huge amount of women in my world that want to lose weight, but they don't think they're ever going to do it. So they don't even try. They don't even try because they're like, my mom is overweight. I was told I was a big kid growing up. I'm never going to lose weight, So like they don't see the value in working with someone to help lose weight because it's just a dollar sign to them. So I just had to throw that in there because it was very, and again, you were probably on my mind earlier when this was coming to mind. And in light of what this woman's going through, but I mean, she's not the only one out there. It's just the only one that I see on social media. And she's being very public about her journey, which is great for others to sort of witness and see. But, my takeaway is like, oh, I wish she had done this sooner, whether it would have prevented it. I don't know. But like she at least would, I don't know, would have, could have, should have, we don't know at this point, but now she's doing as much as she can to outlive her prognosis. So, and, we're going to start wrapping up the episode here, but I want to end on a final money question. And, a lot of us were raised, like I had said in the beginning, money is evil and, it's the root of all evil, and rich people are no good. And, they take advantage and all this negativity around money. So of course, why would somebody want to make money or extra money if that's how they're raised? How do we look differently at money and understand that it is actually a tool? It's not evil. It's not the root of all evil.
Yeah, being open to it, and as we talked a little earlier, the beliefs and stuff, that money is a tool. Money essentially is no different than this stack of note cards that I have here. I can put it on my desk and it'll stay there and do nothing, anything good or bad, but it's a tool, like the tool in your screwdriver and tool in your toolbox, sorry. what good is it if it just sits in the toolbox?
Yeah.
And then also who realizing or recognizing who told you those beliefs.
Yeah.
Did they have this experience with 3 rich people, and so every rich person now is bad? Or did they go survey everybody in the world? What is their analysis based on? you know um and there's so many analogies you can use towards that, but so where did you learn those money mindset concepts, and then what is your perspective on it, and what do you want to believe?
Yeah.
I've met some rich people and poor people that are very good people,
Mm-hmm.
and I've met some rich people and poor people that are horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your perspective? What do you want to believe, and what do you want money to do for you?
Mm-hmm.
Money is a tool to get you towards your goal.
Yeah.
So what do you want money to do? If you got this thought of money is the root of all evil, what thought out here do you want to replace this thought with?
Yeah.
And just start there. Writing things down. What do you want your money mindset to look like? And make a list if you want. These are the 10 key things that my current money mindset looks like. I believe I never have enough. I believe money is the root of all evil. Evil people are horrible, whatever. List those down, then list what you want down, and turn some of those into affirmations.
I love that.
Take the top 2 or 3 and turn those into daily affirmations.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Yeah, we're like moralizing money with people. Like money makes you either good or bad, or if you're conditioned to think bad, then everybody with money is bad. And I agree, that's not true. I too have seen people that don't do good things with their money, and I have seen a lot more people do really good things with their money. Really good. And maybe that's just the sphere of people I keep in my world of they're very philanthropic. They're donating, they're building schools, they're building clinics, they're building things in countries that need help, or like even in our country, and donating to charities. Like they're doing very good things. They actually take their wealth and they put some aside to do good with. So, and then they invest more into, helping other people. So refining their skills so they can help more people with whatever their expertise is. So I can't say, even though I kind of had a poor money mindset growing up, I've actively worked on it myself, and and seeing those people around me that are wealthy, that are doing really good things with their money does a lot for your mindset around money too. And believing I can do the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you pointed out something that's really key. You said people that you keep in your world.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that, the power that that money has over us, or we have over money, or other things. If there's a scenario or people that you don't align with, you have the power to change your circle of people that you're with.
Yeah.
Maybe you spend less time, you still want to spend a little bit of time with them because they align on some areas, but on other areas spend some less time. But you have the power to do that. You have the power to control money. You have the power to control your thoughts. You have the power over your circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Your circumstances, your outward circumstances, your bank account, the car you drive, the job you have or don't have,
Mm-hmm.
is all a reflection of what goes on inside. And that same with health and education, and you have the power to control those.
Yep.
But so often we give that to other people and other things.
Exactly. We'll wrap this up, and with money, that's definitely who you keep around you. Like I always keep around me people that are doing a little bit better than me, so I keep striving to do, not like I want to keep up with the Joneses, but like keeping people around you that are, the mindset, they're positive, they know they're going, they have goals, versus those that are like, oh, I can never do it. I don't want to be around those people. I want to be
Yeah.
around people that believe they can do it.
And push you to your potential.
Exactly. And, same goes with health. Like, I've seen this a lot of people that are really afraid to change their circle of friends or spend less time with them. Yeah, they want to get healthy, but they're going to happy hour every night after work and then, drinking too much and eating all the appetizers. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I don't moralize food or alcohol. It's just that that's your friends and that's what you do every night. That's going to move you further away from your goal versus finding another group of friends that likes to go to the gym or go to, take walks or go get salads at lunch or what have you. Like there's a happy medium there. Like you can have both. Just one of the, doing the things that are going to move you away from your goals. Like going to happy hour every single night. Maybe you want to reconsider that, finding another circle of friends to hang out with most nights of the week and maybe doing that as a special occasion and not your routine. So it can, like their circle of friends, I mean, it relates to everything, so we can take relationship, everything, money, relationships, career, all the things. So I always love to bookmark my episodes by, of course, asking how you got doing what you're doing. But at the end here, my audience always loves to know about routines because, I often talk about morning routines, evening routines, like, not that they're, again, good or bad. It's just curious. Do you have something that you do every morning, a morning routine, being a money mindset coach?
So yeah, my routines every morning and night and multiple times through the days I feel is prayer and affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
And then my vision boards. I have vision boards. Like I pointed out, a couple here. I got them several vision boards. So those three things I do morning and night, and sometimes middle of the day whenever if I'm feeling a little down or something didn't go quite as planned, I'll do those again. It'll bring me right back up to that higher mindset instead of sinking down to woe is me, I can't do it, told you couldn't do it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my key routines.
How about night? Do you do anything special at night before you go to bed?
Oh yeah, the prayer and affirmations, I do those morning and night.
So you bookend your days with those. Yeah. And another thing that hit me as you're speaking is like, if you don't want to do vision boards all over, you can even do sticky notes, like everywhere, like on your computer, on your mirror in your bathroom. Or another thing that I've actually learned is like putting little reminders coming up on your phone of like affirmations. And those days that you start, the doubt starts setting in, maybe it's 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're starting to get tired, like have something pop up on your phone, like nice little affirmations, like ding, you are amazing or whatever. Just to kind of snap you out of that. I think, really useful things that along the way I've heard. And I'm like, yeah, like anyone could do this. We can make it as easy as possible just to get you to where you want to go. So last question. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just to tie in with that, with, all the advances of technology, you can schedule emails to yourself with a picture or a funny meme that helps you think of your goal, just to come at random times throughout the day. And like you said, similar idea with the text on your phone or something popping up on your phone, just have a random email pop up in your email every once in a while.
Yep. That's like a pattern interruption, like especially if you're having a thought, it's like something pops up, get you out of it. So
yeah.
And last question is the one I've had in existence since the first ever interview on this podcast back in 2019. But what's something that now that you wish you knew 5 or 10 years ago? Or maybe even longer, maybe 15 years ago, however long back you have to go.
Oh, there are several, but the biggest thing is, I think, would be it's possible for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I knew and believed that 5, 10, 30 years ago.
Amen. I love that. So it's, if you're listening to this, it's possible for them too, you too, right? Like anything's possible. It's not for somebody else because they're better, prettier, skinnier, wealthier, all the ers. Like, no, you can do it too, just as you are. So
absolutely.
So Kenny, where can my audience find you? Where do you like to hang out most?
So the best way is my website, ingersollenterprises.com.
Okay.
It's got my phone number, my email, my social media. If you go to ingersollenterprises.com/mentorship, there's some free PDF downloads.
Perfect.
And that's the quickest way to learn a little bit more about me and get direct connect with me.
Okay, perfect. I love that. And do you have anything currently going on? Anything special?
So those PDFs are always going. We're actually in the financial thing. We're doing some financial literacy classes because April is Financial Literacy Month. So we've got classes always ongoing, online and free. So there's no barrier there.
Perfect.
And then we've got a summit coming up in July, a dream. It's called Permit to Dream. Basically giving yourself permission to dream and go for your goals.
Love that. So many resources. So, even kind of touching on the financial literacy, like if you're like, okay, I want to make more money, but I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't even know where my finances are right now. Like, I think that would be a great place to start to kind of understand money, right? And like where your money's going, because I think that's a big problem too. But anyhow, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here today. I appreciate you taking on a topic that we've never really discussed, but really, pivoting to pertain it to health. And I think that was really important. And I'm big about mindset. And so I think money plays a huge part in that as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. It's been a great conversation.
And with that, I'm out of here. Talk to you again soon.